Tristun und Isolte, Richard Wagner. Wagner wrote long operas. I once stayed in for 4 Saturday nights in a row to watch the whole of the Ring cycle. Approximately 8 hours. It certainly had its moments, but nothing to eclipse the finale to Tristun and Isolte. And in my opinion, nothing has ever eclipsed the climax to Tristun and Isolte. Not even Springsteen's Broken Heroes on a last chance power drive. Wagner's trademark was suspended chords, which he used even more often than Pete Townshend. But unlike passages like the intro to Pinball Wizard, Wagner kept the suspension going, giving everything an unresolved uneasiness. Tristun and Isolte famously starts with what has become known as the Tristun chord, a suspended chord that does not resolve till the end of the opera. For this reason it is regarded as being very important and influential in the development of music in the following century. Wagner was a man who could write music that could make you feel exactly how he wanted you to feel, and often that feeling he was going for was nationalistic, though not every listener feels the need to invade Poland. He could write memorable riffs like Ride of the Valkyries, and he could write love like no other human being ever has done. Some might say the music is stirring, but stirring is how you sweeten tea. This is music to fire up whole nations with a passion to rule the world, and to fire up lovers to recklessly devour each other in an everlasting kiss. Wagner was not a nice man in so many ways, but especially in his anti-Semitism. However, many Jewish performers consider the music to be too important to be ignored. The famously gay and Jewish comedian Stephen Fry is a massive fan. And Wagner could do so much more than incite a yearning for a return to those halcyon days of legend. He could write weather and scenery. He knew the sounds of emotions, especially triumph and despair. I recently heard a librettist describe opera as an art form that strips away all the middle ground to a story, leaving only the peaks and troughs. The highlight and climax of the opera is Der Liebestod, meaning love and death. It is the most famous and most successful musical setting of the action of lovers in the ultimate embrace. In this case, Tristun is already dead, but love is very much on the mind of Isolte. Love as it should have been, and how she is seeing it, as she sings over his body, preparing for her own demise. She sings the main theme in ever-ascending variations. It twists and turns and soars in and out of flocks of fluttering counterpoint. Using just melody and rhythm, it builds and stalls and builds and stalls, each time leaving the music frustratingly unresolved, until the final thrust, in the fleeting moment of silence, the length of a fluttering heartbeat that forces a sharp intake of breath, before the relief of the climax with the fading twilight of the gods' aftermath and the resolution of the Tristun chord. I have a shortened version of the opera, and even that gets a bit boring. There are long instrumental passages where unresolved chords merge, but there are also moments of speedy, intense jaggedness that will have you on the edge of your seat. Really, I would recommend listening to just the prelude and Liebestod, which you will find on most opera or Wagner compilations. There was a 1987 film called Aria, where famous film directors were asked to make music videos of pieces from opera, from which I would recommend Frank Rodden's Liebestod, starring Bridget Fonda as one of a pair of lovers pursuing a suicide pact in a Nevada motel. It is on YouTube. Wagner, Tristun and Isolte.